You Cottage Kids with another dishcloth, washcloth pattern for my summer dishcloth series. This is the 5th dishcloth in the series, and this one is called All in a Row Dishcloth. And I'm using a familiar looking yarn. If you've been looking at my video tutorials for my dishcloths, this one happens to be a big twist cotton. Let's see if I can turn it around here. Big twist cotton, which is 85% cotton and 15% polyester. I'm liking it a lot. It's available at Joann's, and this one happens to be called Rosy Cheeks. And I used this in another pattern in the series, and I thought I would use it again for this one. This one, again, as I said, is called All in a Row Dishcloth. And in order to make it, I'm using an H crochet hook. And what we are going to do is start this out by doing our chains. And this one is going to be a little bit larger than some of my other dishcloth patterns. I started out with 7-inch square dishcloths. Then I've had some 8-inch dishcloths. And now this one will probably turn out to be more like a 9-inch square. In fact, it does turn out to be that. So what we want to do is chain a few more. And in this case, the stitch multiple is any number. So you can make it any size that you want. And what I've chosen for this particular dishcloth is to chain 35. So we'll start out by doing our slip knot, put it on our hook, and I sound like a broken record, but when you do your chains, try to do them as consistently as possible. Not too tight, not too loose, just right. So what we want to do is 35. So here we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So there are our chains. And even though this particular pattern says that it can be any number, I still recommend that just so you know what you're starting with and what you want to continue with, that you check your count right after you do your chain to make sure that you have what you thought you had. So we'll count by twos: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, and 35. And we don't ever count the loop that's on our crochet hook. So there are our 35 chains. Now what we want to do next is to do our first row, and the first row actually starts by doing a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 and put our double crochet into that stitch and do a double crochet in each of the chains across. Again, trying to keep as much consistency as you can. Be sure not to split your yarn. So we're going to do a double crochet in each of our stitches. They're in our chains. So double crochet in each one, again trying to keep our tension as nice and consistent as possible. And again, if you are a beginner just starting out, don't feel that speed is important. It's not. What you want to do is get your counts correct and get your tension consistent so that everything turns out to look the same. Okay. And again, as we've said before, in doing our beginning rows, sometimes because you don't have a lot of fabric to hang on to, you just have the chain, sometimes it's a little bit harder to hold. But that'll get to be easier and easier the more you practice. And again, if you are a beginner, dishcloths are perfect for practicing, and that's how you get better. And it's nice to have projects that are small so that you don't have a huge investment in money, in yarn, in time, but you can practice without feeling like you spent a huge amount of money or time, and you can just get better and better. And if you don't have a lot of yarn to work with, tear out the first dishcloth that you get done and remake it to see if you can just get practiced up as best you can. Now, if you're looking to make this as a gift, you just want to make it as perfect as you can, and you can make it in all different kinds of colors, and it works out beautiful as a kitchen gift, or you can make it in colors that would go with somebody's bathroom, so you could use it as kind of a spa type gift. All right, we are coming up on our last stitches. There's the second to the last, and finally the very last one. Okay, so there you see that we have our very first row in our all in a row dishcloth. And now what we want to do is to chain one and turn. Now before we even chain one and turn, I want to count how many stitches I have. And we're going to count starting right at the beginning. Remember that we skipped to the fourth stitch from the hook? We're going to count that as a stitch. And in the future, we're going to count our chains as a stitch too. So I want to check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So that's what we want to have as we go across our stitches. Now, what we're going to do is chain one and turn. And for row 2, what we'd like to do is we're going to go right into the stitch right below the chain 1. Okay? Right there, and right under both of the two sides of the V as we look at our stitches, remember, do a single crochet. Now, the next thing we're going to change, we're going to do single crochets all the way across, but we are only going to do them in the front loop. So again, if we look at our stitches from the top, they look like little V's. We're only going to put the rest of the stitches in the first side of the V and do a single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way across. And this can sometimes, when you first start, feel like you're getting a little loopy, just too loose. So make sure that you're working with a good tension, and if not, pull it out and do it again so that you're not too loose there. So we're doing single crochet in the front loop only, all the way across, one in each stitch. So this will give us a whole different texture than if we would do this just as single crochets. And if you look back into one of my previous dishcloth patterns in the series, you'll know, you can see what it is if you do it in both loops with a single crochet compared to this one if you just do it in the front loop only. So get that front loop, and again, trying not to split your yarns. If you do, pull out that stitch and redo it so that it looks nice and professional. Checking on your tension to make sure that that looks consistent. And these rows take a little bit longer than our other ones just because we've got more stitches. And we're just about to the end. And for this, we're single crochet in the front loop only, as we said. And now, as we get to the end, we are going to do our last single crochet, which will be a regular single crochet. And here we are at the second to the last, but we're going to look, and here were our chain threes from the row before. We are going to do a regular single crochet in the top chain of that chain three. And that ends our row. Now, before we do any other chaining, I want to count. And I'm going to count the top with my V's. So we'll start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. And that's what we had in our first row. That's what we have in the second. Now you might remember, you do remember that we chained 35 to start with. But remember we skipped stitches to start our first set of double crochets. So that takes off a couple stitches. So now from that time on, it'll always be 33 stitches across. All right. Now, what we'd like to do is to chain 3 this time. For row 3, I've completed row 2 and counted as we have just done. And now chained 3 for the beginning of row 3. And what will happen next is we are going to do a double crochet in the first single crochet. And in this row, and in all our double crochet rows from now on, we do not count this, that's right directly below the chain 3. Don't count that as the first single crochet. Go to this one, and we will be doing a double crochet in the back loop only, all the way across. So this is the double crochet in the back loop only. And remember, if we look at the top of our stitches, it looks like little V's. For the single crochet row, we went in the front loop only. Now for the double crochet row, we are going in the back loop only. So these are all double crochets in each stitch across in the back loop only. Again, want to be consistent, but you can see as we are going along that we're getting an interesting horizontal texture because of these front loop only stitches and the back loop only stitches. Once again, speed, I always talk about it, but speed is not what we're working on at this point. What we're going to do is just try to get as perfect of stitches as we can. They're consistently the same shape, the same size. And untangle my yarn a little bit. So we're going to do our double crochet in the back loop only all the way across. And remember, we start our double crochet rows in the first single crochet after the chain threes. We don't go into that stitch right below our chain three. Now once we get to the end of our double crochet in the back loop only row, we are going to count to make sure we've got our right amount. Remember, 33 stitches across the row. Getting close. So we want to count once we're done. Almost to the end of this row. And if I'm going faster than what you feel comfortable with, just stop the video and do it at your own speed, and then turn the video back on and take a look at what we are doing. Okay, now we are at the last stitch. There's one more single crochet left in this row, and we've been doing double crochet in the back loop only all the way across. In the final double crochet row, we're going to do our last double crochet under both legs of the V of that last single crochet, and we're set. Now there is row 3, and you can see our nice texture horizontally going across. Now in order to count, what we want to do is start over here. We can count the V's, or we can count just the stitch itself. But I'm going to count the stitches, and we'll count here with counting the chain 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31, 32, 33. So be sure that you count in your double crochet rows that chain 3 on the end. Now we've counted. Now let's say we want stitches to do right here. What if you would like to count just the top of the V's? We can do that too, and so either way you count is fine. But looking at this, now remember we counted our chain 3. When you're counting the V's, remember to count the little one at the top of the chain 3. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So you can count either way, but every row should get 33. Now I'm going to do one more single crochet row, and basically what we are doing for the rest of this dishcloth is to do a repeat of the single crochet row and the double crochet row. Remember, the single crochet row was row 2, double crochet row was row 3. So it's just a matter of repeating row 2, 3, 2, 3 until we get to the size that we want. So here we go. I'll do one more row with single crochet, chain 1, and then we are going to go into that stitch that is right below the chains and do single crochet in the front loop only, and then continue with single crochet in the front loop only all the way across. So remember, that's different when we start out with single crochet. It is in the stitch that's right below our chain. When we start the double crochet row, that is not in that stitch, it's in the next single crochet. Okay, so we're going all the way across. With our single crochet in the front loop only. And again, be sure not to split your stitches or split your yarn. And if that happens, just start again with that stitch. Kind of just straighten it out, get my yarn organized. Single crochet in the front loop only. Untangle myself there a little bit with my yarn, and then getting close to the end, front loop only, and just about there. And in this row, remember, when we get to the end of the row, we are going to put a single crochet. Here we are, just about at the end. We have 1, and then the last one goes in the top of the chain 3. Single crochet. There we go. And again, you can count, but be sure that you get 34, and if you just want to count every other row, that's fine. I think what I'll do is do the double crochet row again, just to be sure you see where we're starting and stopping. So we do chain 3, and again, this one we do not go into this first stitch right below the chain. We skip and go into the next one, and that's a double crochet in the back loop only. Double crochet in the back loop only. All the way across until we get to the last single crochet right here. We don't go into the chain, we just go into the last single crochet. So I won't go through the whole row, but I wanted to be sure you saw how those differences are on the end and on the beginning of the rows. So in order to do this particular dishcloth, keep going with this particular pattern, repeating row 2, row 3, row 2, row 3. Or if you want to think of it as single crochet, double crochet, whichever way you want to think about it. But continue on. I'll do that with mine, and I'll do another 8 or 9 rows, and I will be back to show you what I have, and we'll talk about finishing this. Here we are. I've been working on this, and I actually worked to the point that I have a total of 19 rows. And it's an easy way to keep track of your rows if you just count right at the end of your single crochet row, and that's 2 because you have the double crochet, single crochet. So in order to count all of these, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, and that's how many I've done. And that gives us basically our full dishcloth. Now, if you haven't gotten to 19 rows yet, because I know I said let's go 9 or 10 more, we want you to get to 19. And now in this last part of the video, I want to show you how to finish off. And what we want to do is instead of the single crochet row, what we're going to do is a chain 1, turn our work, and now for the last row, we are going to do a slip stitch in each stitch. And we are going to put the first one in that first double crochet under both legs of the V, but it's not a single crochet, it's a slip stitch. Go under both legs of the V on the next one and all the rest, but not a single crochet, just pull through for a slip stitch. Into the next, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on the hook, and just be doing slip stitches all the way across. Try to keep a nice even tension. Don't get it too tight. You don't want it to pucker up on the edge. And you want to just get that nice edge to kind of finish everything off. Some more yarn there, slip stitch in each stitch across, and it will be 33 stitches across, as it's been for each row of this particular dishcloth. 33 slip stitches. Okay, we're getting close to the end, and this is our last row. 19 plus the slip stitch row for a total of 20 altogether. And we're just about done. And it makes a lovely dishcloth. Finish by putting the last slip stitch in the top of the chain and pull through, and then one more chain 1 to finish. Now, all we have to do is cut that off, fasten it off, and work our ends in, and we have this beautiful textured dishcloth. Now this is more what I would consider the back side, and if you turn it this way, it has a little bit different look. I kind of consider that the front side. I hope you liked doing this. It works out great. The tricky part is just making sure that you start each row in the proper stitch, but I think by following this particular tutorial, it should be quite easy. So, hope you like it. Love to see your pictures. I use the hashtag Lakeview Cottage Kids on Instagram and Facebook if you'd like to show your pictures. And you can also put photos in our Facebook group of the projects that you make, or you can post them here in the comments. So, thank you so much. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. This is Chris Long.